right, we started off by looking at bar graphs. Now we're going to look at histograms. Bar graphs and histograms are very, very similar to one another. At first glance, you might think they're the same, but they're slightly different. So a couple of things. In a histogram, the bars don't have any spaces between them. So if you look at the example down here, in a bar chart, there's a space in between, and in a histogram, they run side by side. And also, histograms display numerical data instead of different categories. Okay, so if you notice down here, these are all numbers, whereas over here, they're categories. Okay, let's look at a couple of questions. We're going to read a histogram, and then we're going to make a histogram. So here's a histogram, and the title of this histogram, as you can see, is the hours spent playing video games. So the horizontal axis, or the x-axis, what we see there is talking about the hours spent playing video games. The largest number of students play between, well, the highest number here is this last bar, so that's between 20 and 25 hours a week. And the last question here says, is it possible to tell exactly how many hours any one student plays on a weekend? Well, not really, because this tells me that I have 9 students who play between 20 and 25 hours, but I don't know exactly how many hours they all play. They might all play 24, they might all play 22. We don't know for sure, so no. So now we're going to look at how to create a histogram. So we use what's called a frequency table to make a histogram. We're going to do one together. This information, this chart over here on the right hand side, it has information about the number, like how big sugar beet farms are in Taber, Alberta, and all of these numbers are how many acres the farm is. So Quinn's family wants to start a sugar beet farm. How can they use the data to help him? We're going to draw a histogram and then draw some conclusions. So to draw a histogram, what we need to do is we need to determine the range of data. So we have to find the highest number. So the highest number in the chart is 836. That one's right here. And the lowest number in the chart is, I believe, 61. So that's right there. So 836 minus 61 gives me a range of 775 acres. So usually you want between 6 and 8 bars on your graph. So we are going to choose a reasonable range for your data that results between 6 and 8 bars. So if I have 775, I could make each bar 100 acres wide. That would give me a range of 8. And we always want our first interval to be a number lower than the first data point. So to make it nice, I'm going to say it's going to start at 50. So we're going to go from 50 to 150 and then go up by there. So we're going to fill in this chart. So then this would be 150 to 250, 250 to 350, 350 to 450, 450 to 550, 550 to 650, and 650 to 750. Now, I want to just talk about this very quickly. So if you notice 150 is in both. So over on here it says over and including. So what that means is we're going to go anything over 50, and we're going to include 150. So if you look at the numbers in the chart, so that would give me anything between 50 and 150. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to include 150. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm missing one somewhere because there's supposed to be 18. Which one am I missing? Oh, right there, 122. So there's 18 in total. So I'm including the 150s in there, okay? So what I want you to do is pause the video right now, and I want you to calculate how many are between 150 and 250, 250 to 350, and so on. So pause the video, fill in the chart, come back and check it. Okay, so there is our frequency histogram. So we've got 6 in between 150 and 250, 2, 2, 3, nothing, nothing, and 1. So now we're going to create our histogram. So we're going to put the number of farms along the y-axis, and we're going to put the area in acres along the x-axis. And this has a title called the area of sugar beet farms. So you're going to take a ruler and you're going to draw your axes. So a couple things to just think about when you're drawing these. You have to make sure that each bar is the same width wide. So I need to fit between 50 and 850 on my axis, and I want no space in between the bars. So I am going to leave a little space at the beginning here because I don't want it right up against the edge, because the edge is representing 0. So I am going to make every 3 bars, because mostly you just need it to be a nice number to plot. Okay, so there we have our x-axis done, and on the y-axis, the largest number that I have to put on is 18. So I'm going to go up by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So between 50 and 150, there are 18 farms. So I'm going to draw my first bar at that height. Okay. And then the next one, butted right up against it, is 6. So that would be that high. So I'm going to pause the video now and fill in the rest of the graph. You do the same. So there's my completed histogram. You can see that I have the most farms in between 50 and 150 acres. The largest farm is between 750 and 850. So I'm just going to turn the page now and fill those numbers in. So it says that the most common area for sugar beet farms from our data is in between 50 and 150 acres. And the largest sugar beet farm is between 750 and 850. So your advice to Quinn would be what? Well, I'd say maybe go between 50 and 150 acres because it's common. Or maybe you want to go a little larger to kind of stand out in the crowd. But, okay, so that is how you create a histogram. So what you want to do now is complete the hand-in assignment for bar graphs and histograms.